and welcome to the Federal Railroad Administration's Rural Program Delivery video series. I'm Anthony Thomas, and I'm pleased to introduce Troy Johnson, an engineer with the Office of Railroad Policy and Development at FRA.
Hello, everyone.
In this video, we'll give you a brief overview of the passenger rail rolling stock procurement process and the roles that various parties play in that process. We'll go over the processes of identifying requirements and resources, developing a request for information and a request for proposals, identifying selection criteria, and evaluating and selecting proposals.
Procuring rolling stock can be a complex, years-long process with many moving parts. Experience shows that grantee capacity and capability is a critical success factor in rolling stock procurement for a few reasons. For one, the overall passenger rail rolling stock market is small, and replacement cycles are at least 20 years apart. This sometimes results in a lack of institutional knowledge about how to execute procurements. Therefore, it's important to involve experienced professionals in the process.
Another complicating factor is that, in the U.S., passenger rail rolling stock is not an off-the-shelf product. Most rail fleets are individually designed and built, which requires a variety of expertise for the procurement process, rolling stock design, and manufacturing. In order to overcome these challenges and meet your agency's goals, you should plan for the long term, manage the procurement process holistically, and understand the market and its players. FRA, in this video, can help you in this process.
Because the process is so complex, FRA evaluates grantees' qualifications to manage the procurement process. This helps to ensure that the rolling stock procurement will be successful and that federal funding is responsibly allocated. Involving FRA early helps you understand the safety requirements, mitigate problems related to planning for rolling stock testing, and minimize the potential need for waivers of federal regulations.
Both external and internal factors will affect your decision to procure rolling stock. External factors may include state or regional rail plans in response to increasing ridership demand. Internal factors may include the age of your existing fleet, new technology requirements, and the need to increase reliability and lower lifecycle costs. It's important that you consider both external and internal factors early in your procurement process and make adjustments to address them throughout the procurement.
Before starting your rolling stock procurement process, it's important you assess your agency's capabilities to implement the procurement. This will help you identify resource gaps, project management tools, and educational needs of staff.
Here's a high-level overview of the rolling stock procurement process. First, you'll establish your business case and requirements and identify the resources at your disposal. Then, you'll issue a request for information, or RFI, followed by a request for proposals, or RFP. Next, you'll evaluate the proposals and select a winning car builder. And finally, you'll work with the car builder throughout the design, manufacturing, delivery, and testing of your new rolling stock.
You can expect the entire procurement process to take 5 to 8 years. Therefore, you should carefully consider the timing of your procurement and how it aligns with factors such as remaining life expectancy of the existing fleet, changes in ridership, or other deciding factors for the new rolling stock.
Now, let's turn our attention to the key tasks for establishing the requirements and identifying the resources needed for your rolling stock procurement process.
Planning is a crucial part of the rolling stock procurement process. It includes the following steps: determine when you will need new rolling stock, develop an operations plan that describes how the new rolling stock will be used, determine what type of rolling stock you need. For example, you will need to decide between single or bi-level cars, semi-permanent or flexible consists, locomotive hauled or multiple unit trains, and other rolling stock performance characteristics. Identify specific requirements such as safety regulations, industry standards, performance characteristics, and stakeholder requirements. Identify funding and financing sources. Identify required staff resources such as technical, legal, and project management resources, as well as internal and external stakeholders. Identify infrastructure improvements such as maintenance facilities and stations. Begin considerations for the service operator and rolling stock maintainer if these contractors will be required.
You should aim to make decisions on the parameters and scope of the procurement during the planning phase of project development. However, it's also important to be flexible because the final product, the number of vehicles, and when they arrive may be affected by many factors, such as car builder capacity, market forces, stability of funding, labor market availability, applicability of Buy America, and other factors. If changes are necessary, make them early, as it's much easier and less costly to make adjustments during the planning phase.
You should also develop a thorough method to monitor your schedule and project performance in order to accurately identify and document project accomplishments, milestones, and challenges. It's also important to ensure that you develop internal budgets and integrated schedules that include car builder activities and deliverables, as well as important dependent activities such as maintenance facility upgrade or construction, maintainer and operator activities, infrastructure upgrades, and rolling stock testing, acceptance, and revenue service.
Here are some tools and procedures that grantees can use to ensure successful procurements. Project management software tools can help you develop a schedule of tasks and task completion dates, as well as assess associated program schedule risk. Maintaining detailed descriptions of tasks, milestones, and dependencies can help you get a firm handle on your procurement. Developing effective communication and formal procedures to document information exchanges can help you stay organized in a complex process. And keeping action items and key milestones controlled, resolved, and documented will help you stay on task.
Another element that affects the success of a project is how well you involve and communicate with stakeholders throughout the process. Toward the beginning of your procurement process, you should make a list of your key stakeholders. You should include host railroads, service operators, maintenance staff, contractors, and project managers. You should keep the list up to date and reach out to your stakeholders as needed to ensure that you keep them informed and involved throughout the process.
Once you've established your requirements and identified the resources for your rolling stock procurement, it's time to reach out to the rolling stock industry.
Conducting industry outreach meetings with car builders can help you understand the current rolling stock market. Outreach meetings provide insight into technical capabilities and limitations for design and manufacturing, state-of-the-art rolling stock technology, the types of vehicles being built or designed, maintenance facility requirements, and approaches to maintenance and spare parts management.
After conducting industry outreach, you can seek additional information from car builders using requests for information, or RFIs. RFIs are designed to gain feedback from the industry in order to assess feasibility and identify options which you may not have already considered.
A typical RFI for rolling stock procurement usually contains the overarching goal or goals of the procurement, a high-level scope of the planned procurement, including the type and number of vehicles, the base requirements, and options, the type of specification that will be used, such as prescriptive or performance-based, the relationship between the RFI and the RFP processes, identification of industry standards, and regulatory and technical requirements, applicability of federal requirements, including Buy America and Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, a procurement schedule, the terms and conditions that will apply in the contract, and anticipated funding sources.
Upon receiving responses to an RFI, you have a better idea of the industry's interest and capacity for the proposed rolling stock procurement. You will be able to develop the RFP with this information in mind to reduce program risk and improve FRA's confidence in the program.
Together, the industry outreach and RFI processes provide information about potential challenges or opportunities that may influence the procurement and vehicle specification. The information that you gathered in the RFI will help you prepare your request for proposal or RFP.
An RFP asks potential car builders to provide details on their proposed design, manufacturing capability, testing plans, maintenance and reliability expectations, and vehicle delivery at the proposed price and timeline. The RFP stipulates what is to be provided and when. A typical RFP contains the following major categories: notice of requests for proposals, instructions to proposers on how to respond, general conditions, including a statement of work, requirements for insurance and bonding, project schedule, payment milestones, and terms for liquidated damages, special provisions outlining Buy America, the Americans with Disabilities Act, environmental and other federal requirements, a description of the required warranty, a quality assurance section which covers manufacturing, inspection, and acceptance procedures, and a section detailing the technical specifications of the rolling stock being procured. Although this and other standard formats offer useful outlines, the method of creating an RFP may be different across projects because of varying risks in such procurements. Before you release your RFP, you should develop a selection plan. Through developing the selection plan, you will determine the criteria for evaluating the proposals. It identifies the procurement strategy, the ground rules for evaluation, the individuals with authority to select a winning proposal, and the criteria used for proposal selection.
The way in which you establish and weight criteria in evaluating proposals can have a significant effect on the selection of the winning proposal. When establishing evaluation criteria, be sure to consider factors in addition to price, including life cycle cost and risk. You should also consider the car builder's proposed project management plan and capability, experience, manufacturing capability and capacity, technical competence, project management capability, supplier integration, and quality management plan. Your evaluation criteria should lead you to select a rolling stock manufacturer based on best value, considering all factors that will make your procurement a success.
Once you advertise the RFP and start receiving proposals, you should begin a detailed evaluation of them. Your evaluation should follow the process outlined in your selection plan. This should include evaluating the proposer's capability through a review of each technical proposal and project management plan. The technical proposal should include details on the engineering capability necessary to design, manufacture, and test vehicles. The project management plan should clearly explain the ways in which they will define the critical path, schedule, and high-risk elements of the project. These elements will reveal how well the proposers have planned the project.
When evaluating proposals, make sure the car builders include descriptions of their control of manufacturing, quality assurance and quality control procedures, plan for complying with federal requirements, and how they plan to manage their suppliers. Once you've evaluated the technical capabilities, project management plans, and other factors, then you should evaluate price.
After you select the winning proposal and give the notice to proceed, the car builder will begin mobilization, design, and manufacture of the rolling stock.
Quality control is critical in rolling stock procurement. With effective quality control through grantee oversight, your program can avoid risks that result in delays, product failures, and cost increases. You should ensure that the car builder submits a quality assurance plan, also known as a quality management plan. This plan should outline how the project team will be managed, assign responsibility for individual quality functions, and provide forms and processes for tracking and documenting quality processes.
Quality control measures encompass not only inspection of physical products, but also establish processes used to control activities such as design documentation, managing purchasing specifications, and ensuring proper level of training for employees. For more information about working with car builders, reach out to your FRA regional manager. Now that we have an understanding of the basics of rolling stock procurement, let's go through a quick quiz to review. Question 1. True or false? It's important to make procurement decisions as early as possible, ideally in the planning phase.
True. Making decisions early in the process and remaining flexible are equally important. It's easier and less costly to make adjustments during the planning phase.
Question 2. What are the grantee's major responsibilities in the rolling stock procurement process? A. Issuing RFIs and RFPs. B. Providing cost, schedule, and technical performance oversight. C. Ensuring conformance with specification requirements, regulations, and industry standards. Or D. All of the above.
The answer is D, all of the above. Grantees have a lot of responsibility in rolling stock procurements. You'll be expected to work closely with all stakeholders and ensure that your grant requirements are met.
Question 3. True or false? In choosing a car builder, the most important factor to consider is price.
False. When establishing evaluation criteria, You should avoid putting too much weight on price, as low price proposals may lead to higher long term lifecycle costs. You should select winning proposals based on best value, considering all of your evaluation criteria. Rolling stock procurement can be a long and complicated process, but FRA is here to help. Before beginning a procurement, make sure that you have sufficient capability and capacity to provide oversight throughout the process to meet your agency's goals. Proper planning and stakeholder coordination are key to a successful procurement.
For more information on rolling stock procurement, contact your FRA regional manager. Thank you.